All right, welcome to the Explainer. So you know how you can ask an AI a question and get a quick answer? Well, what if it could do your entire research project for you? I'm talking about the whole thing. That's the huge promise behind this new class of tools called AI research agents. And today, we're going to dive into exactly how they work.
Just think about it for a second. Instead of you spending weeks, maybe even months, digging through articles and papers, what if you could just give an AI a single prompt and get back a detailed, fully cited report on pretty much any topic you can think of? That's the game-changing idea we're getting into.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. Nope. This is a real, fast-moving category of AI tools that are trying to automate one of the most complex things we humans do, really, truly understanding a topic from the ground up.
So, what exactly do we mean by deep research? Well, for starters, it is not just a fancy Google search. Not even close. It's a whole system where these things called AI agents act on your behalf. They go out and search, they analyze what they find, they pull it all together, and the end goal? To give you a structured, long-form report from just one simple request. Okay, so what makes these tools so special? It really boils down to two key things. First, they don't just search one time and call it a day. No, they act more like a whole team of junior research assistants. They're constantly running in loops, refining their search queries, and changing their approach on the fly. That's what we call agentic search. And second, the thing you get at the end isn't just a little paragraph summary. The goal's a detailed, properly structured report that looks and feels like something a human expert would write.
So how in the world does this actually work, right? It's not magic, even though it kind of feels like it. It's actually a really clever, structured process that's specifically designed to overcome the limits of just using a single AI model.
You know, the first instinct for developers was to just copy how humans do research. You know the drill: search for something, click a link, read the page, think about it, and then repeat. But as the team at LangChain hilariously pointed out, that process is really slow and clunky, even for a super fast AI.
The big aha moment, the real breakthrough, came when developers leaned into what AI is actually good at: massive parallel processing. So instead of having one single agent fumbling around on its own, they realized they could unleash a whole army of agents to search and read dozens, even hundreds of pages all at the exact same time. A great example of this in action is the open-source tool GPT Researcher. Here's how its workflow breaks down. First, a planner agent takes your main topic and breaks it down into a bunch of smaller, more focused research questions. Then, and this is the cool part, it sends out a bunch of crawler agents to find answers to all those questions at once. As they find info, they summarize it, and then finally a publisher agent takes all those little summaries and weaves them together into one single coherent report, complete with citation.
Okay, so once you've got this idea of a bunch of agents working together, a whole new question pops up. How should they actually, collaborate with each other? And two major schools of thought have emerged here. You can think of it as a super structured project team on one side versus a free-for-all brainstorming session on the other.
So first up, you've got frameworks like Crew AI. The best way to think about this is like a really organized corporate project team. Each AI agent is given a specific job title and a role, like senior researcher or lead writer. The whole process is defined from the top down, and tasks get passed along in a nice, orderly sequence. It's predictable, it's controllable. It's basically like a project manager handing out assignments. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got something like Microsoft's AutoGen. This is way more like a creative brainstorming session. The agents all jump into a flexible, automated chat room, they talk to each other, they argue, they build on each other's ideas, and the final solution just kind of emerges from that dynamic conversation. It's definitely less predictable, but man, it can be incredibly powerful for solving really complex, open-ended problems.
So what this all really boils down to is a classic trade-off. Crew AI gives you that top-down control, and a human steps in at specific, formal review points. That's perfect for tasks that need to be predictable and repeatable. AutoGen, on the other hand, is more bottom-up and conversational. A human can literally just join the chat and act like another agent in the room. This approach really shines when you need creative, out-of-the-box problem-solving. It's that age-old battle: structure versus flexibility.
But listen, the cutting edge of this stuff isn't just about how agents talk to each other. The next big frontier is all about fundamentally scaling up what these agents are even capable of doing in the first place.
And that brings us to these new next-generation agents, like one called Miro Thinker. For a long time, the thinking was pretty simple. To make an AI better, you either make the model bigger or you give it a bigger library of stuff to read. But this new wave of research suggests there's actually a third, super important way to scale them up. And that third dimension, it's called interactive scaling. Here's a good way to think about it. Imagine a musician. It's not just about knowing all the notes in the world. It's about how skillfully they can actually play their instrument. It's the same idea here. We're training the AI to get better and better at using its tools. Things like web search or running a piece of code. The deeper and more frequently an agent can interact with its tools, the smarter its reasoning actually becomes. And just to put this incredible leap into perspective, the Mirror Thinker model can handle up to 600 tool calls in a single task. That is a massive, massive increase in how deeply it can interact with the world, and it lets the agent perform way more complex, multi-step reasoning than we've ever seen before.
Okay, but this naturally leads to a really critical question. We're building these incredibly powerful systems that can take hundreds of actions just to answer one of our questions. So, with all that power and autonomy, how do we make sure these agents are safe, ethical, and ultimately aligned with what we actually want them to do?
And this is not a simple problem with a simple answer. The ethical questions surrounding AI are huge. They span everything from individual concerns, like our personal safety and privacy, to big societal issues, like fairness and accountability, and even all the way to the environmental impact of running these massive systems. It's a really complex, interconnected web of challenges.
And these challenges lead to some incredibly tough questions. I mean, think about it. When one of these autonomous agents produces a flawed research report with bad information, who's responsible? Is it you, the user? Is it the developer who built it? And how do we stop these agents, which are learning from the entire internet, warts and all, from just amplifying all the biases that are already out there in our society? These are the massive questions that researchers are trying to solve right now.
The North Star, the guiding principle for finding the answers, is this idea of human-centered AI. The goal can't just be to build the most powerful technology possible. The real goal has to be designing these systems from the very beginning to be ethical, to be sustainable, and to be trustworthy. The focus has to shift to how these tools can actually serve society and empower all of us.
And that really leaves us with a final crucial thought to chew on. Remember how the first AI agents tried to work like us, and it just didn't work very well? The real power was unlocked when we let them work in a way that's uniquely not human, with that massive parallelism and super deep interaction. The big challenge now, as they get more and more powerful, is to make absolutely sure they're always working for us, not just like us. Thanks for watching The Explainer.